So on the browser, one of the things, the buttons here is the two little arrows, very handy, especially when you've got a sketch of this size. You'll notice there's a lot down this left-hand side. So as Russ has said, you really want as much screen space as you can get. So that will just hide the browser and will actually open the browser back up again. So sometimes people want to change their settings to maybe inches or feet. So if you go on the document settings, you're going to see something here called units, which is currently for me in millimeters because I like working in millimeters. But if you want to change that, just click the change active units. And you see on this box here, you have an option where you can change it to centimeters, millimeters, meters, inch and feet, depending on what you're working on. So let me change that from there. Named views. An often not looked at topic, especially when you've got something like this on a bike. If you want to go at top view, that's quite handy because you can just quickly flick to the top view, the front view, the right view. Yeah, these are all available using the cube, but what's not available is you can have your own named views. And like this particular one is set up, there's a rocker view. So that's a rocker view. And that's zooming into that part. Now, sometimes that's very, very handy. If you're just working on a very small part, if you're just working on that part, you can actually zoom into that part. Let's just zoom in. And then you can create a new named view. And we can rename that round thingy. I don't know what it is, but it's a round thingy of something. So the great thing now, if you're in the top view, but you want to go back to your round thingy view, you can just click the round thingy view and that will do your zoom and your orientation exactly on that part. That's quite handy. Sometimes, again, when you're doing something like this, there's bits that get in the way of where you want to be modeling. So what you'll do is you'll come along and you'll go, right, so we've got the frame, so let's switch that one off. And then we've got this thing here, which is a swing arm. So we turn that off. And then you realize you've got something else in the way. You've got this, which is right the way down the bottom. That's a rocker. So you end up switching that one off. And if you're doing that quite a lot, it's a bit of a pain. So one thing that you can do is if you highlight the rocker, and then if we come up to the top, and we have to remember which one we do. I think it's Command, so you don't highlight them all. If we do the frame and the swing arm, you can do a thing called selection sets. Now, selection sets are quite handy, especially if you're selecting things on a regular basis. If you right click now and you do a thing called create selection set, if you want to switch now these on and off, you can go up to your selection set, which is this one, and you have an option to select them all. You can then right click and you can put show hide, and that will show them or alternatively hide them. Now, if you were quick and observant, you will have noticed there's actually a shortcut for that as well. And the shortcut is V. So if you just click, now you've got that selection set, that's visible, that's invisible, or is it invisible? Is that a word? I don't know. But if you do that and you want to make them visible again, just click the V and that will make them visible again. Very handy if you've got lots of parts. I don't know, maybe you've got 50 LEDs on a mimic panel and you want to switch them on and switch them off. It's a nice way of just selecting all of the LEDs so you can hide them. Also, the other thing with that is if you wanted to change the color of them, just that selection, you could then change the appearance. And then any other thing that I think the original video was a little bit missing is that it didn't explain a difference between components, which are the little square boxes. Components have inside them bodies, and bodies are identified by a cylinder. And the other thing to notice that occasionally you will get components inside components. And that's why you end up with this thing that looks like multiple boxes. It's an area we're going to cover in more detail later, but I thought it was important at this stage for everybody to know what these little pictures are.